In Santa Monica, California, second grade teacher Martha Duran Contreras integrates her reading and writing instruction with ongoing assessment of her 22 students. By establishing classroom routines that promote responsibility and reflection, she motivates her students to initiate the next steps in their own learning.
Max? Here. Good morning, Max.
Morning.
Are you ready to learn something new?
Yeah.
Yes. Julian?
Here.
Is Kevin here?
Here.
Good morning, Kevin. How are you? My name is Marta Duran Contreras. I'm a second grade teacher at the Will Rogers Learning Community in Santa Monica, California. I've been a teacher for 22, 23 years now. The class that I have right now is very typical of a classroom here at our school. It's a neighborhood school, and within our neighborhood we have children who are living in poverty and children whose parents are professionals. We have children who speak English as a first language, children who speak English as a second language. Lucy, you're looking good this morning. How are you?
Hola.
Hola, ¿cómo estás? You okay?
Yes.
Yes. I have students who are 6 years old, 7 years old, and 8 years old, and just that, being 6, 7, and 8, there's a lot of variety in them, a lot of ranges. But I also have children who, in reading, for example, children who are reading at ending kindergarten ability, and children who are reading at 3rd, 4th grade reading. You want to read a little part of this to me? You want to choose a part and read to me? I want to hear how you're reading that. I think assessment is a very important part of my instructional program, and I have various ways of assessing children. Can you come up here with me, please? For example, if I'm going to use a rubric on a writing with them. How are you today?
Fine.
I'll share that rubric with them so they know what it is that I'm looking for. I don't want to keep them guessing, what does she want me to do? And what I did today, instead of just having you flip through our journal to look at it, I actually made copies of your first day of schoolwork and what you wrote with us yesterday, okay? I like to set goals for them so they know where to go next. Otherwise, it's like, okay, I've done this, now what do I do? Helping them understand that they've got a long way to go. And this is what you're going to do next. Instead of saying you need to be way over here, I'll give them little steps. The whole notion of scaffolding, next step, next step. What else do you have in this paragraph? The point of that is I want them to see where they started off and where they're going.
I indented.
Okay.
I put my title, and I did the date.
Good. The next couple of things that I want you to start thinking about writing. For example, it says this weekend I went to Alla's birthday party. You were dancing. What kind of dancing?
I wasn't dancing. The squirrel was dancing.
Oh, the squirrel was dancing. And you could tell me what kind of dance the squirrel was dancing. You could use a simile. The squirrel was dancing as fast as a... I don't know. I give them very specific feedback because I want them to know what it is that they're doing well. Then also tell them, okay, now that you're doing this, give them some ideas for their next steps. So what you're doing is going to add more detail to your paragraph. Are you proud of yourself?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm proud of you too.
You know what?
You know what this means, right, boys and girls? If I stand here, if I stand here, I go like this. This one's longer, and if you look at it, it has 1, 2, 3 words. And it's something that I tell you all the time, or try to tell you all the time, to get ready to hang my spider. I do warm-up activities. They're more like focusing activities. The kids come in, they're rattling around, and they like them.
A.
A is a good vowel, and often, many times, words have an A in it. One of the most common vowels we have in English. Jasmine, can you give me a letter, please?
E.
E, another vowel? But guess what, Carla? Not today. One of the things that I use in my classroom is I have a little popsicle stick container, and I have every child's name, including myself, in there, because I say I'm a learner as well in our class. They don't know who's going to be called on. They might get their stick pulled again, so they're never like off the hook. Gabriela, you have a lucky stick. You got called twice.
Why?
Why? Are you sure? And what does that say? Read it with me.
Stay on topic.
Have you ever heard me say that to you?
No.
Oh my goodness! I say to you, stay on topic all the time. When we're writing on a paragraph, I say to you, stay on topic. So I specifically chose stay on topic because that's what I wanted to do with the lesson that was going to follow it immediately. If I reach into my little box today and I get a shoe, that's what I'm going to write about. I'm not going to write about a party that I went to one time when I wore my shoes and my uncle was at the party and my uncle came to visit us from Riverside and I like Riverside. You're going to stay on topic. You're going to write about the shoe. I gave each student an object to write about this morning when they started to write in their journals, because instead of giving them a general topic like I've done, I wanted them to each stay focused on one little thing. But you're going to show me that you're ready to be good writers by the way you're going to walk back to your desk and to be quiet. You're going to walk back quietly. You can get your pencils ready, though. You can start thinking, how am I going to stay on topic? I've established a lot of routines so the children know what to do, where to go next. I think children feel safe when they have boundaries and they know what's expected of them. Let's see what you're going to get.
I got a frog.
Here, hold your hand up. That's what you're going to write about today.
A strawberry. No. It's a bee. It's a bug.
You know what that is? ¿Qué es? A skeleton? What else can we call that? X-ray.
X-ray.
An X-ray. X-ray. What is that?
It's a pot.
It's a pot. Okay? Boys and girls, make sure you put your names, your dates, your titles. Let's go. How are you? You're not happy today. You sad? ¿Qué traes? One of the things that I do when they're working on their writing is to pull in their background knowledge. You know what you can talk about too with drums? Because I know when you dance, you hear drums. Do you know when you use an X-ray?
When your body gets swollen.
And where do you usually go when you need an X-ray?
Doctor.
You break a finger, you're in a car accident.
I broke a finger and I had an X-ray.
See, you could talk to her. She just told you she broke her finger and it's an X-ray. Jasmine, what are you going to write about, do you know?
A bucket.
What do you do with buckets?
Sometimes you carry water in it, or sometimes you put stuff in it to take it over to your grandma.
Okay. So there's a couple of things you can do with buckets. Have you ever heard of collecting candy in a bucket?
Or collecting rocks.
So you've got a lot of information that you can tell me about a bucket. Okay. And what are you going to write about?
A tie.
And what do you know about ties?
You could wear them. It's like a party.
Have you ever worn a tie?
When I had to once.
Okay, so you've got plenty of information to start writing about.
And it starts with the T.
Okay.
You wear it to the wedding.
What is this?
And
A nest? What do you know about nests?
the birds make nests and the birds
You know how they make
live
them?
on it.
They live in nests? Actually, the word is nests. And it's kind of funny. I'm going to show you right here. Just at the end. I usually don't take your pencil. I'm going to take your pencil. You can say nests. It's got a funny little sound that STS goes. Nests. Can you say that? Nests. Yeah, it's a funny little sound. And yes, birds live in them. They make them.
They make them with branches.
See, in Spanish we would say they live on them, but in English we say they live in a nest. So you use the word on. En español usamos en el nido, pero en inglés decimos vive adentro de o in the nest. So where do birds live? In a nest. You went right ahead and used the word in. Good for you. I'm very strategic in the use of either Spanish or English with the children in the class. Sometimes I point out things to them. For example, if they're saying words in English or the syntax isn't the same, I'll say to them, in Spanish we say it this way, but in English we say it this way. And I use language like that purposely with them. Tell me, what do you know about cheeses or a cheese?
You can put it on bread and in sandwiches.
What else can you do with it?
Eat it.
Just like that? Now, what's your kind of favorite cheese?
I don't have a favorite.
You don't have a favorite? Do you like white cheese, orange cheese?
I like white.
White cheese? Yeah. All right, so you've got something to write about. You did some things correctly. Can you show me what you've done correctly on your page already?
I put the name and date up there and the title down there and under.
Okay, and what did you do here already?
I
Here. What's that word?
indented.
You indented. Could you show me where the indent in it is? Good, so you do know. Right, so you've done like 4 things correctly already on your page. And you're smiling. I like cheese also. You, how are you this morning? I look at your paper, Alyssa, and I've already seen that you've done some things correctly. You have your name. I'm going to point them out to you today. You have your name. You have the date. You have a title. Here's your title.
Trim.
Good. First sentence. What are we supposed to do with that first sentence? Do you remember? I'm going to draw a little picture. Maybe that'll remind you. Beep, beep. What happens here? Little car comes and pushes it over. Bam! It smashes it. It dents it. Do you remember?
I know.
It's okay. Gilbert, let her think. Give her some think time. It comes like this and it goes.
You squished it over.
It squished it over. The word we use is indent. Can you indent that for me? Can you start again, erase that and indent your first word? All year long, I do informal assessments with them. I walk around and I see what they're doing. And sometimes I have to make adjustments, which I should, because my assessment really should be driving my instruction and not my instruction driving my assessment. Try it. Put your name on your line.
Can I skip like
So I really walked around and I saw about 10, 15 different things that I could have told 10 or 15 different children. And sometimes I choose little things. Sometimes I choose bigger things depending on the child. And I know that if I say something to this child, I'm really going to stretch him. I know maybe I'm just going to stretch him just a little bit. And sometimes a little bit is okay. Sometimes a lot is okay. Can I have Carla, Riva, Max, and Lila? And please make sure you bring your book bag with you. This is day 3 of a guided reading group for children who are reading at approximately 3rd grade reading level. I had given them an opportunity to look through 2 or 3 other chapter books, and they chose that book after looking at the picture on the cover, reading what someone had written about the book, and they decided they wanted to read that book. And we had talked a lot about predicting what's going to happen. They're used to me asking them, what's going to happen next? What's going to happen next? Can you prove it? Can you prove it? So it's just one of those other techniques or strategies that I use in the classroom, and they're able to use it in a small group. Remember some of the predictions we had from chapter 1.
Elaine feeling lonely.
And that was one of the things that I had predicted as well. Elaine goes to a new school and feels lonely. And I think many of you had the same prediction. You said Elaine's going to meet a friend. What was your prediction?
She meets a new friend.
She meets a new friend. What are you going to predict chapter 2 is going to be about?
About
Pictures don't give me any clues.
About her and her friends
Okay. What about her and her friends?
doing a project.
You think so? What do you think chapter 2 is going to be about? You think the same thing? Make a prediction before you read your chapter.
But I already know because I was looking at the pitch.
That's okay. The pictures are helpful. That's something that you can use.
It looks like they're catching butterflies.
I think there's a big connection between prediction and motivation. I think it's a very important skill for them. It gives them a purpose for reading. It also makes them go back and forth between, this is what happened in the previous chapter, so I'm just going to predict what's going to happen next. Boys and girls, I'm going to walk away from you for a few minutes while you read your chapters, finishing up the other chapters, starting your new chapter, and I'll be back. It's okay?
Oh, I'm sorry, Lizzie said. Then she felt so. It sounded as if she was sorry for being there.
That's one of the things that's good about having established routines with them. It's easy to walk away from them. They're able to work independently. I want you to stop. I want you to look at your work, and I want you to touch each word with your finger to see if you spelled it correctly. It's one of those editing things that we do. Go ahead.